You think the hammer was a blessing, a holy weapon placed into worthy hands. You hear thunder and think, Thor protects us. No, Mjolnir was a bribe, a desperate offering from a terrified liar trying to keep his head attached to his shoulders. And the worst part, the gods knew it. People tell this story like it's about Thor, or Loki, or some magical hammer. But old stories rarely belong to kings or gods. No, this story belongs to the hands that built their world. We do not get wind in the deep places, not real wind, only furnace breath, bellows air, smoke, metal, and sweat. So when the tunnels turned cold, the smiths noticed. And when the smell came, sulfur and rain, bad intentions, they knew who approached. Loki, the sly one, the leak in the wall. He did not walk in, he seeped in. And he came desperate. You know why. He had found Sif sleeping and cut away her golden hair. Not merely stolen it or trimmed it, he ruined it. A humiliation meant to sting far deeper than vanity. And Thor did not laugh. The mountain shook with what he intended to do to Loki. So the trickster ran, down below the roots, down to the forge halls, to the sons of Ivaldi. And there, like all cowards eventually do, he tried to purchase forgiveness. The sons of Ivaldi forged him treasures. Golden hair for Sif, a spear for Odin, a ship for Freyr. Any other creature would have stopped there. Problem solved, debt paid. But Loki is incapable of leaving wounds closed. He must always put his fingers deeper into the cut. So before leaving, he sought out two other smiths, Brokkr and Sindri. Now listen carefully, because this is the part most storytellers ruin. They call dwarves greedy, petty, comic little craftsmen hidden underground. But the old gods, they feared dwarven work, because dwarves understood something gods did not. A thing made properly contains power. Not flashy magic, not illusion, not tricks. Power. The kind earned through heat, precision, and pain. Loki found Brokkr and Sindri at the forge, and he poisoned the room. Called them lesser craftsmen, second-rate tinkerers, said the sons of Ivaldi were the true masters of the Nine Realms. Now, pride is a dangerous thing inside of a forge, because craftsmen will endure wounds that kings cannot imagine, simply to prove their hands are steadier. So the wager was made, Loki's head against their craft. And Sindri, who understood immediately that Loki would cheat, gave Brokkr one command: do not stop the bellows. Not once. No matter what touches you. Now, remember this. Everything that follows, the wealth of Asgard, the strength of Thor, even the delaying of Ragnarok itself, depends entirely on whether one dwarf can endure pain longer than Loki can inspire it. First the boar, Gullimbursti. Gold entered flame, the bellows roared, and Loki changed shape, a fly, black-bodied and hateful. He landed on Brokkr's hand and bit deep. The flesh jumped, but the rhythm held. And from the forge came Gullimbursti, bright as sunshine, swift enough to outrun darkness itself. Loki grew afraid. The second forging drew blood, Draupnir, the ring that births wealth from itself, a dangerous thing, the sort of gifts rulers adore and wise men distrust. Again the fly descended, this time the neck. Blood ran down Brokkr's collar, and still the bellows screamed. Still the rhythm held, and the ring emerged perfect. Now Loki panicked, because he understood what was happening. The dwarves were going to win, and Loki never accepted consequence quietly. Then came the iron, heavy, sacred and hungry. The hammer, and the fly landed upon Brokkr's eyelid, not the hand or the neck, the eye. He bit hard, Blood blinded Broker, and for one heartbeat, one tiny fraction in the rhythm, Broker lifted his hand and the bellows slowed. The forge breathed wrong, and the hammer's handle cooled just a little too quickly. And that is why Mjolnir is short-handled. Not because dwarves failed, because even the steadiest hands can bleed. Then they climbed upward to Asgard. Bright halls, polished gold, and soft-handed gods. And there sat Odin, Thor, and Freyr, waiting to judge work they could never create. The treasures were presented: the spear, the ship, the hair. The gods loved them all, but then Thor lifted the hammer, and the hall fell silent. He swung it once, and the air cracked. The servants recoiled, and for the first time that day, Thor smiled. Not like a king, but like a starving wolf. Because finally, he possessed something capable of holding chaos back. And everyone in that room knew who forged it. Broker stepped forward. "The wager," he said. "Your head?" And then Loki spoke. There's the serpent. "I promise my head," he said, "but not my neck. You cannot take one without the other." And the gods laughed. Do you understand what that means? The dwarves had bled for them, forged for them, strengthened their realm. And the gods sided with cleverness over honesty, with wordplay over debt. That moment mattered, more than people think, because trust, once broken between craftsman and king, never fully heals. But Broker did not leave empty-handed. No, if Loki loved his mouth so much, then Broker would honor it. He took a leather thong, a needle, and stitched the liar's lips shut, right there on the floor of Asgard. And every old smith who tells this tale always smiles at that part. People ask why the dwarves remain below. Why do they not come when the gods call anymore? Look carefully at the old stories. The gods wield the weapons, but they do not know how to forge them. They wear gold, but they do not know what the fire sounds like. They inherited glory. The dwarves kept the knowing. And every time the thunder rolls, every single time, remember this: somewhere beneath that sound is a dwarf with blood in his eyes, still pumping the bellows. Until next time, my friends.